CTV News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Windsor is falling behind when it comes to the employment participation rate, according to Workforce Windsor Essex.
Across Ontario and across Canada, participation rates are growing. They're etching up. In Windsor, they're falling dramatically. From last month to the most recent reported month, we've gone down 1%, whereas in Canada and Ontario, those numbers are going up 0.1%. So falling 1% in a single month is a pretty big move.
The overall unemployment rate improved to 8.1% last month from 8.5%, and it's down more than 2 points from the same time last year. The third shift at Windsor Assembly helped boost jobs in manufacturing, but employment in healthcare and education fell by roughly 2,500. And as CTV's John Venevali-Rao reports, youth continue to struggle to land a job.
At job fairs across the country this spring, for young people looking for work, it hasn't been easy.
The job market, especially right now, is not the best that it's ever been.
And the latest numbers showing while overall employment has largely unchanged, for 15 to 24-year-olds, it crept up another half a percentage point to more than 14%, double the national average. For students, the unemployment rate is 16%.
And teenagers is even worse. The unemployment rate's north of 20%.
A recent report by the Fraser Institute highlights how youth unemployment has surged since the pandemic, reversing a decades-long downward trend. The report finding in 2025, youths who were unemployed remained jobless for the longest period ever on record.
The labor market for young people in this country is similar to what happens during a severe recession.
The report found the weakness was concentrated in retail trade, accommodation, and food services.
I feel frustrated.
Reza Mahmoudian is 28 and has struggled the last 3 months to find a job. He was a home energy saving consultant, but work has dried up.
I've applied for jobs, like for more than 100 jobs, and no one got back to me yet, even a single one.
Like many his age, he's also worried about the rising cost of living. A new Nanos poll for CTV found, while nearly half of those over the age of 55 felt inflation is not a major problem, in the 18 to 34 age bracket, only 1 in 4 aren't concerned about it.
Rent is very high right now.
While among young people, 22% said they'd canceled a major purchase because of increasing prices, the most of any age group. Meanwhile, that Fraser Institute report notes the gap in the unemployment rate between young people and adults is now near an all-time high. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
This takes us to our question of the day. Do you think it's easy to get a job in Windsor, Essex? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if gas prices are making you consider an EV. Out of almost 900 votes, 83% say no. In labor relations tonight, a strike has been averted at TRQSS. The union says a tentative agreement was reached just hours before a strike deadline. A spokesperson with Unifor Local 444 says approximately 540 workers were set to walk off the job at midnight this morning. The unionized workers had voted 98.3% in favor of strike action at the end of April. The plant is located on Patillo Road in Lakeshore, and they make seatbelts for companies including Toyota, Subaru, GM, Mazda, and Nissan. Meantime, Unifor Local 195 says their hearing with the Ministry of Labour yesterday against Titan Tool and Die did not reach any conclusions. The two sides will meet again in June, according to President Emile Nabout. The ministry won't comment on the ongoing dispute or their involvement in it. As you likely know by now, 27 active members were locked out last summer after the company and union failed to ink a new contract. Windsor police are looking for a second suspect tonight, wanted in connection with a downtown sexual assault. On March 28th, police say a woman lost consciousness in the back seat of a vehicle and she was sexually assaulted. Police have already charged a 19-year-old man. They're looking for someone else. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or make an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. Detectives also seized more than 50 grand in illegal drugs yesterday. The bust happened downtown when officers found hundreds of oxycodone and hydromorphone tablets. A subsequent search of subsequent house search of a home on Wyandotte Street uncovered illegal firearms. A 37-year-old man is facing serious charges. Meantime, tonight, a Windsor man has a warning for all drivers after he was seriously hurt while riding his e-scooter after he was struck by a pickup truck.
The truck drove up over my leg, squishing my knee, and then drove over my spine, cracking my back. Some of my ribs are fractured. I have 2 breaks in my jaw. One of my 2 front teeth was dislodged.
Scott Dennis Batter says the driver did not use his signal and left the scene. Windsor police confirm they are investigating the incident. Batter is grateful he was wearing a helmet at the time, and he is reminding all e-bike and e-scooter owners to do the same.
Always, whenever you're on a bicycle, a skateboard, a scooter, a unicycle, anything that you're not inside of a car, wear your helmet, wear your safety gear. It will save your life one day.
Windsor is plowing ahead with nearly $9 million in road rehabilitation and reconstruction projects across wards 8, 9, and 10 this year. Projects include major resurfacing along Tecumseh Road East, Queen Elizabeth Drive, Rhodes Drive, Dominion Boulevard, and LaBelle Street. Construction is expected to begin this summer. The city says the work will improve traffic flow, support transit and active transportation, and address heavy wear near schools.
Some of these roads will start right on June 29th and be done by September 4th or whatever the first day of school is. So there are some different dates in there, but really we're doing our best to minimize the disruption. I know some other roads in the other wards will even have some night work as well.
Windsor-Tecumseh MPP Andrew Dowie in town today to announce new funds, gas tax funding for Transit Windsor. The city is getting $4.4 million. It will help support Transit Windsor's operating budget and maintain current service levels. The funding comes as Transit Windsor faces an almost $8 million deficit and prepares an early review of its master plan. Mayor Drudilkin says without the provincial funding, the city would have to make up the shortfall through local taxpayers, while also continuing to invest in buses and projects like the East End Transit Terminal.
In the end, it is in part based on a formula, and so the ridership is crucial, but this province has put in the floor, so if there is a decline in ridership, the funding is maintained where it was previously, because we want to get back to a period of growth, and certainly we're going to continue to invest, and so more ridership will mean more funding.
A local agency that supports at-risk youth in our community also got a funding boost. CTV's Sanjay Maru has that story.
This is Youth Diversion's new family engagement space inside its office on Windsor's West End. It's part of a more than $500,000 investment from the province to expand services, helping entire families instead of just one young person.
The families are saying to us that they feel like they're not supported, that they don't have the tools in their toolbox to be able to help their child with de-escalation of high emotions.
Windsor Police Chief Jason Crowley says officers regularly respond to calls where deeper issues at home may be contributing to a young person's behavior.
We're talking about abuse of substances, possibly. Like, there's all kinds of issues, but it could be something as simple as just lack of supervision from parents because they're too busy trying to earn a living to support for their family too.
The new model includes family coaching, parent workshops, and take-home toolkits filled with coping resources and sensory items.
We've got earmuffs, a snack, because if our sugars are low, we're not happy, but also quick resources about ways to de-escalate a situation.
Executive Director Joanna Conrad says the goal is to strengthen not just the young person, but the support system around them.
When it comes to kids, especially with learning disabilities or intellectual disabilities for that matter, they're not necessarily understanding the repercussions of their behavior, but they're also not necessarily provided the strategies to change their behavior.
And according to Windsor's police chief, this all comes at a time when early intervention and stronger family supports have become increasingly vital.
You have minor calls, like vandalism calls that have been around, since the dawn of time, to now we see a little bit more violent crime. So this is where we need partners like Youth Diversion and others to step in and really start making that difference.
It's a difference Youth Diversion hopes will have a positive impact on the roughly 300 to 350 families it supports each year.
Young people make up only 20% of the population, but they are 100% of our future.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Gary Archibald has been busy today with weather and, of course, our weekly Get Gardening segment. Tonight, he and Sandy McDonald are talking about hydrangeas.
Sandy McDonald joins me again for another topic, Get Gardening and hydrangeas. Talk to us about this great flower and what we can expect in terms of its care.
Gardeners usually have questions about hydrangeas. There's a whole series of different types, and they all need slightly different care. So it's kind of difficult to give good advice unless we know what kind of hydrangea we're talking about. But we did have a cold winter, so we had an issue. I noticed, too, there are a few flowers still hanging around. A lot of people probably will have taken these off. Some people leave them all winter just for decorative effect. I like that. I think they look great sticking out of the snow in the winter. I don't have much to look at in the winter, I guess. But again, they would deadhead. However, this year we've got lots of dead wood. So those are stems, twigs, right, which basically suffered from the cold weather we had. And they have died back. There actually are buds on this, which we would have expected to sprout into green leaves. However, that has not happened. And so now almost all the growth is coming from the base of the plants. There is hope, of course. They do regenerate from the base of the plant. And we actually found on some of them that there might be a couple of buds that actually do develop. And so some people are doing the scratch test. They were going along the stem here and finding brown, 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 but right down near the base, there actually is green tissue there, and that is still alive. However, on this one, we would expect leaves to be coming on these buds, so this whole shoot, we're going to cut right back to ground level. Some of the ones are not particularly winter hardy, so we can protect them. We can perhaps pile up some nice dry leaves and wrap it with burlap a couple of times, sometimes even put in a few small wooden stakes and then put burlap around that and dump a pile of leaves in there to sort of protect it over winter. That can give you some winter protection, and hopefully then we would have more live buds on this. We have a little bit larger shrub, and hopefully some of those buds are also flower buds, because some of the hydrangeas, they only bloom on this 1-year-old wood. So depending on the type, you could have poor bloom season this year.
Sandy McDonald, thank you so much for another take here on Get Gardening.
And Gary will join us with your full Mother's Day weekend weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. Then later, the war overseas is starting to impact local farmers, and it's predicted to get worse. We'll explain later in our newscast. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now with details of Mother's Day weekend weather.
Michelle, you know what? Things are looking a little bit better than they were at 6 p.m. for Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to you, Michelle, and all the moms out there. It looks like Sunday's looking a little bit sunnier and more pleasing through the afternoon in particular, and perhaps even for brunch. The temperatures are creeping up. I think it's going to be a seasonal, if not slightly above seasonal, Saturday. Reached a high of 17, our average high is 19. That's not bad for this time of the year. The worst case scenario was that this train, or training effect, the stream, conveyor belt of moisture, rain, that's moving through Ohio into Pennsylvania, western New York State, was going to clip us here, but it looks like it's going to stay south of Lake Erie. That's good news, and it bodes well for the overnight. However, by about noon tomorrow, we'll see increasing cloudiness, and some scattered showers, maybe even some thunderstorm activity for Pelee Island, the Point itself, Leamington, Amherstburg, Kingsville. The north shores of Lake Erie might see it, if we see it at all, in southwestern Ontario. The amounts aren't too much, but Leamington, that particular model run suggesting close to about 15 millimeters. So there's some rain in the forecast. For tonight into tomorrow morning, light breeze under partly cloudy conditions is anticipated, and 8 degrees would be seasonal. That is a normal or average low for a 24-hour period as of today's date. Tomorrow morning, mixture of sun and cloud, mostly cloudy. By 8 a.m., we're looking at 11 degrees Celsius, and the winds will pick up for the afternoon. Again, if we do see showers and or thunderstorms, I think it's closer to about 4 o'clock in Windsor, Essex, closer to about 6, maybe 6:30 in Chatham-Kent, as the system works its way west-east across southwestern Ontario. Take a look at our 7-day forecast, calling for 20 degrees in the afternoon. Again, might need the umbrella, but Sunday looks good. Not bad at all. 16, 3 degrees below seasonal, but fair. Mixture of sun and cloud. 13 degrees Monday and mostly sunny. Cool, yes, but dry. Tuesday, Wednesday, up into the mid-teens. Cloudiness continues, so too for Thursday into Friday, with temperatures climbing to more seasonal values, 20 then 18. There it is. Take a look. All 7 days. It's not a bad forecast. Once again, happy Mother's Day. Michelle?
The shaky ceasefire in the Iran war is facing new challenges as the United Arab Emirates responds to Iranian missile and drone strikes. This comes after the U.S. and Iran exchanged fire in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command says it was self-defense after Iranian missiles, drones, and small boats attacked 3 American warships. The ships crossed the waterway without damage. The U.S. retaliated against Iranian military facilities. Meanwhile, American Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Rome for day 2 of a fence-mending visit to Italy and the Vatican. He met with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Italy's Foreign Minister following weeks of tensions and disagreements over the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. In Ottawa, Washington's ambassador to Canada canceled a planned speaking engagement today. Pete Hoekstra was scheduled to speak at the Canada Strong and Free conference, but an hour before, organizers announced his appearance canceled. One official cited, quote, urgent meetings. According to U.S. Embassy officials, Hoekstra has been in Washington all week, meeting with senior officials at the White House. They would not say whether those meetings were related to North American trade negotiations. A new Nanos poll is outlining the impact inflation is having on young Canadians. Nanos research found 2/3 of young people say they're canceling major purchases and having a hard time affording necessities. Of the people surveyed, older Canadians were nearly twice as likely to report that inflation has not been a major problem for them. Overall, 14% of Canadians say they have had to cancel a major purchase because of inflation. That's up from 8% last year. Canada's main stock index rose on fresh jobs data from both sides of the border. In Toronto, the TSX gained 221 points, and in New York, the Dow added 12, while the Nasdaq was up 441. The Canadian dollar dropped 1/4 cent today, and on commodity markets, gold is up about $20 an ounce. Oil added 61 cents a barrel.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Saskatchewan has passed new involuntary addiction treatment laws. Today, our Bob Belichico went out to see if it's something we should consider here.
The Compassionate Intervention Act was passed this week in Saskatchewan, allowing for involuntary addictions treatment to support individuals with severe addictions who are not capable of seeking help.
We have to help these people. It's almost inhumane to think that some of the people we see on the streets are actually going to self-heal. We know this isn't going to happen.
Mayor Drew Dilkins has never advocated for simply picking someone off the streets and, quote, warehousing them in the system. He points to the 90s when fewer people were living on the streets.
They were harmless. They didn't impact businesses. People didn't feel unsafe to go downtown when they saw the Feather Hat Man. And life, everyone was able to coexist. Now you have people who are saying, I don't like some of the behaviors that I see, and those behaviors aren't necessarily criminal.
But Dilkin says those behaviors are discouraging people from the area.
At some point, as a nation, we have to wake up and say, this is not going to get any better. We have to do something different. Involuntary treatment, in my humble opinion, is a big part of the pathway to get into the other side of the problem.
I will continue to be open-minded and hear the feedback, receive the feedback, and ensure that that's carried forward to the Minister of Health and the Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addictions.
DJ McNeil is the Director of Mental Health and Addictions at Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare. He feels more research needs to be done.
To get a clear picture of, does involuntary addiction care work? And if it does work, who does it work for? And I don't think we have that answer right now.
He would like to ensure the intervention is safe, effective, and has been tested.
It's a real community intervention to address something like addiction.
Windsor West MPP Lisa Gretzky would like to see more investment in mental health and addiction supports, as well as more affordable and supportive housing.
So that people who are struggling with addiction, not just with drugs, but with alcohol as well, have somewhere to go where they're supported by professionals.
Currently, patients in Ontario can be detained for assessment for up to 72 hours, with potential extensions if they meet specific criteria. Bob Belichico, CTV News.
With nice weather ahead, it's a perfect time for the return of a popular mobile clinic tasked with detecting cancer early. CTV's Chris Campbell has the details.
You know, the sun is shining brightly.
With the warmer weather returning and more people spending time outdoors, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkin says sun safety is something he now takes seriously.
So I've got my hat on because I'm not blessed with a lid like these fine fellas, and I just got to protect myself from the sun.
Dilkin says years of sun exposure while working summers on a boat as a teenager eventually caught up with him.
I just had like basal cell, like probably what a lot of people had, not melanoma, but things that you have to monitor.
Now doctors are hoping residents will take advantage of a rare opportunity to get suspicious spots checked for free. Dr. Mark Kirchhoff, president of the Canadian Dermatology Association, says Windsor and Chatham are underserved when it comes to dermatology care.
I think this provides a vital service.
I was here bright and early, so I was only like 16th in line.
Melanoma Canada's mobile tour launched in Ottawa a week ago today, with more than 130 stops coast to coast. Kirchhoff says people should watch for skin spots that are growing, changing color, bleeding, or not healing properly. He says catching skin cancer early can dramatically improve outcomes.
We know that the earlier you detect the skin cancer, the better it is, the easier it is to deal with. When skin cancer is detected later, it might be too late. It may have spread throughout the body, and then we have to think about things like chemotherapy. So we want to avoid that if possible. If we can just cut it out, it's very easy to deal with.
The mobile clinic operates on a first-come, first-served basis, and organizers expect large crowds this weekend. Kirchhoff says people in Ottawa were lining up as early as 6 a.m. during the tour launch last week.
The need is high and much greater.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
And speaking of doctors, Chatham-Kent is welcoming 5 new family doctors. The doctors are now practicing in Chatham, Wallaceburg, Blenheim, and Wheatley. Most of them are accepting new patients. Municipal leaders say the additions reflect strong collaboration between Chatham-Kent and its healthcare providers.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Canadian farmers are facing a steep increase in what it costs to get their crops to harvest due to the high price of fuel and fertilizer. That increase could trickle down to shoppers later this year. But one expert believes the true impact might not be felt until the next growing season. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports.
Halfway between Kalmar and Thorsby is a long way from the Strait of Hormuz. But the conflict that's impacting gas prices is also influencing the cost of fertilizer. About 1/3 of the world's supply travels through that waterway.
There are products that have gone up more than 50%. Other products, that regular 10 to 15%. So there are drastic changes. It does hit the bottom line and take right out of the profit margin.
Farmers like Joe Benderitis buy fertilizer by the truckload. Any change in price can make tens of thousands of dollars difference to their input costs. Most grain farmers around here use 2 types of fertilizer.
The anhydrous ammonia is locally produced within Alberta, and it can be produced at a rate that farmers are using it.
The nitrogen is pumped into the soil. Granular fertilizer pellets are also used, loaded into this hopper with seed. That product is seeing the biggest price spike. Benderitis ordered his pellets back in December, before the Strait closed. Farm Credit Canada estimates more than 70% of farmers did the same.
The longer it goes on, it seems like we'll have more fertilizer supply issues going forward, and if it lasts, a couple more months, that starts to impact then fertilizer prices for 2027 plant.
That means consumers may not see higher prices until fall 2027. Still, senior economist Lee Anderson says farmers are feeling the pinch. Meanwhile, Benderitis says he actually likes what he sees in the futures market for the price of barley, wheat, and canola.
I have my product on hand. We're going to get our crop in, and I think most farmers are going to still have a great season.
He says the shorter-term cost pressure in agriculture is fuel. Near Kalmar, Jeremy Thompson, CTV News.
And CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me one last time on the week, and I gotta say, I love that improving forecast for Mother's Day.
I'm glad to hear it. There's one mom who is happy with what we're seeing weather-wise. I'm hoping that there will be many more in TV land and elsewhere as temperatures are climbing. Tomorrow afternoon, yes, there's a chance in the afternoon, say around 3-4 p.m. and onward through supper time for most, say 6-7 p.m. And then, look at this, a nice break. In fact, we might see more sunshine than cloud on Sunday. A 16-degree mark is still just a few degrees below 19, which would be average for this time of the year. Monday, sunny and cool. Cool still and cloudy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The average temperature closer to about 17.5 degrees. And the trend is to stay in the mid to upper teens. Let's look at your weather. Wherever you are, enjoy Mother's Day weekend, moms and family and friends. And God willing, I'll see you next week. Good night.
Thanks, Gary. That's all the time we have for now. To all my work moms, I hope you have a restful and relaxing Sunday. And on behalf of everyone who works here on both sides of the camera, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there who do so much for your kids every single day. Have a groovy weekend. Good night.